Pleasant good evening to all my fans all over the world, well-wishers, strangers, one and all. It's my pleasure once again to be back with you to share another good word. As I've said to you on all previous occasions, we are living in very tumultuous times, treacherous times, frightening times, and some may even say exciting times. However you define the times, I'm saying that a good word is an added bonus. And this channel will give you bonus after bonus every week, every time, because we believe that humanity should make the best of this thing called life. So as usual, we will share with you a motivational word, tell you about our services, do our presentation, and then remind you of our services. My motivational word to you today is to balance the scales of life. When you think of a scale, a weighing scale, and you think that one side is overloaded, it tends to topple over. And similarly in your life, if you don't balance the scale, certainly you will topple over. So my simple message, my simple motivational word to you is that you should do all in your power to strike that balance, because without balance, chaos is the ultimate outcome. So ponder on the word, reflect on the word, and allow it to guide your every action as you seek balance in your daily existence. As usual, we remind you of our services. I, Imo Rameses Bakari, the psychologist and life coach, is available to serve you every time once the request is made. We offer coaching sessions, counseling sessions, we offer workshops in a range of areas such as leadership, customer service, conflict resolution, communication skills, community development, youth development, marketing, management. Our core area of psychology, we do a range of workshops, psychology and you, emotional intelligence and you, the role of psychology in business, identity. We do things such as public speaking. All right, if you want to be a better public speaker, we can help you in that journey, and we conduct a host of other workshops on your request, and we are ready anytime such a request is made. All you have to do is to give us a call at 1-868-778-5141 or 1-868-779-2544, or email us at leadershipwithadifference@gmail.com. Once you email or call, book your appointment early, book it now, and we will be ready to serve to the best of our ability. So we expect your calls, we expect your emails, and of course our service will be there at your disposal. So the topic today is that staying alive is the best strategy to maximize opportunities in life. We are, by nature, by design, is destined to grow in that space between birth and death. We should grow to the best of our abilities, and we should also do all in our power to enhance those God-given abilities. But in so doing, balance will be a key. There has been a lot of literature on the work-life balance because many people struggle to find that work-life balance. Many people at the end of a day's work sometimes lack energy to do most other things. All right, and it is very critical if we are to be productive human beings, if we are to be happy human beings, that we strike that balance. All right. So hard work is always beneficial, but there's a saying, all work and no play, makes Jack a dull boy. So as much as you have to work, it must be interspliced with recreation, with play. All right, because in the Trinidad and the Caribbean context, as I said in previous presentation, a lime is not just a lime. There's a great psychological and physical value in people, getting together, exchanging, sharing, socializing, eating, having a nice meal, drinking a nice drink. Of course, lots of Caribbean people take stronger beverages as people across the world. But as in everything, balance is the key in so doing, all right? So we need to work hard, but we always need to find time and space, to recreate. Right? COVID-19 has affected that, but people have been innovative. People have been having virtual lives. Those who are not having virtual lives, many people have placed greater emphasis in terms of exercise, and food choices, and their rest, their meditation, their prayer, all in an attempt to strike a balance and to become more productive and to become less stressed. Because as we all know, stress is indeed a killer. And in the Trinidad context and the Caribbean context, there is a saying, walk though dead. Many Caribbean people use that statement. And that statement, walk though dead, is a clarion call for balance. Many times I push hard, and sometimes in the course of working, sometimes, moving into the night hours, I would just say, look, it's time to cut. I may not have completed all that I needed to complete, but I know that time has arisen where I needed to cut off, because your body actually tells you it's time to cut. And when you do not cut, you always pay a price, and that price could be sickness, and then the extreme of that could be death. And many people have paid that price, in terms of burning the candle at both ends, the midnight oil, So without balance, it can be detrimental, right? A few weeks ago, I participated in a World Happiness Summit conducted by the University for Peace in Costa Rica, UPeace. And there was a British psychologist, I didn't take his name, but all the same, if he's hearing this presentation, he will know that I'm referencing his work. And he said in that presentation, he quoted some data where he stated that getting 5 hours or less sleep nightly increases one's mortality by 20%. So to strike that balance, and to give yourself that opportunity to maximize, the progress that you like, getting sufficient rest is important. The recommended hours is between 7 to 8 hours, all right? But when you look at a statistic where 5 hours or less increases one's mortality by 20%, that is indeed frightening. Mind you, some persons are made up differently, and 5 hours may do, all right? Because, as the guy rightly said in the presentation, if you get 5 hours of sound sleep versus 7 to 8 hours of sleep with a lot of disturbances, that 5 hours of sound sleep will be more beneficial than 7 to 8 hours. But all things being equal, 7 to 8 hours of sound sleep is the ideal number of hours that people should try to get. Because just think about that statistic as a guide. And in industry, on the roads, many accidents are caused by a lack of sleep. People pushing hard to achieve. But if you are not well rested, you cannot concentrate to drive properly. You cannot concentrate to work properly. So we need to be very, very, very conscious of that. So proper nutrition will always be an important requirement for striking that balance. Eating from the 8 food groups, and also getting enough rest. Should be 6 food groups. Getting exercise. All right. The previous presentation I spoke about the New Start principle. That's a very important guide in terms of proper nutrition, in terms of exercise, in terms of water, in terms of sunlight, in terms of trusting God, in terms of air, in terms of rest, and in terms of temperance, all right? Those things are critical in terms of us trying to get that balance. I remind you of that statistic. 5 hours or less of sleep increases one's mortality by 20%. All right? So let us eat better, let us sleep better, let us learn a bit more, without compromising our productivity, let us still be conscious of COVID-19. All right? Let us pray and meditate and reflect to synchronize mind, body, and spirit. All right? I came across some literature sometime in the past where it was mentioned that, trying to anchor yourself and center yourself and reflect contributes to enhancing longevity. So I'm saying that, with those things in mind, let us take all of the simple steps we can take, and yet, still strive to be productive to the best of our abilities, but recognizing that if we ignore the basics, the opportunities that we would like to maximize and capitalize on certainly would not come our way. Again, a beautiful reference that the British psychologist used, is that when we think of stress, it's really a question of our bodies and our minds responding to demands placed on it. And oftentimes when we complain of stress, certainly it's because of our lack or inability to cope properly in managing those demands. We tend to feel overwhelmed. And a beautiful analogy was drawn by him, where he said that you could think of stress as passing through a container, all right? And when that container becomes overloaded, the resultant effects of stress will be biting, snapping, and even withdrawal. So certainly we can say that our container or pipe, if you want to use that, has become clogged, all right? And that has become clogged because of a lack of balance, because of a loss of focus and recognizing that as much as we need to be productive, sometimes, rocking back, laying back, strategizing, thinking and planning might be more crucial to getting more done than being here, there, and everywhere. There is a saying, more haste, less speed. And many of us can attest to that. Sometimes you try to do so many things that it brings confusion into the picture. You also know that if you do things sequentially, you will get more done than trying to multitask. The brain isn't ideally designed to multitask, especially when enormous demands are placed on the brain. One of the activities that we are doing will be compromised in terms of quality. So for example, if you are driving, you have to make a complicated driving maneuver and you carry on a conversation, the end result of that will be accident or death. The research has shown that when you enter a conversation, you tend to lean to one side, taking your focus away from the road. So all of these things certainly are indicative of a lack of balance in our lives. All right? So let us try to avoid our containers and our pipes becoming clogged, because when we become withdrawn, productivity and our ability to socialize obviously is out of the window. When we are biting and snapping, we are polluting the environment in which we work in terms of poisoning relationships and rubbing people the wrong way. So find ways and means where you can relax. All right, find means and means where you can read an enjoyable book. Find ways and means where you could just withdraw from the normal demands, take a break, and then come again. All right. As I said in the quotation, balancing the scales of life is crucial to achieve those things. So there are a number of fundamentals, some of which I have mentioned already: exercise, proper nutrition, prayer, meditation. Do not underestimate regular medical checks. That conditions can be picked up early, and in so doing, it will enhance your possibilities of staying alive. All right. If it is picked up late, sometimes the chances of surviving might be severely diminished. So many people in the Caribbean, they boast that they never went to a doctor. No, that is not the wisest thing. In that you don't have to be necessarily sick to go to a doctor, but checking on yourself and knowing what is happening with you is very important. We have heard the Ministry of Health and other health practitioners across the world talk about knowing your numbers. It is very critical to know your blood sugar levels, your blood pressure levels, your cholesterol levels, and a host of other things. A schoolmate of mine a couple of days ago was sharing a story with me, and he was saying that he was aware that he was a hypertensive person, but notwithstanding that he loves a good drink, and one occasion he was hitting it hard, punching, backed up by beers, and he went to sleep. Got up the next morning, and his madam recognized his speech was slurred, and his face was twisted. So fortunately for him, he immediately sought medical attention, and he had a favorable outcome. So he said to me, he doesn't miss medication now. He takes it without fail. He takes a walk, and the question is, why not before? Why not strike that balance before and avoid such an outcome? So for all of us, including myself, who is indeed a hard worker, but over the years I have incorporated some stuff that I think has been useful to me. For example, daily meditation, reflection and prayer, exercise on a regular basis of a youth to this present point in my life, and just understanding my stress threshold and knowing how to manage that and keep it in context, because I have known from experience that when you push it too much, obviously the body weakens, the body becomes ill, and those things can be avoided, because to maximize opportunities we have to be healthy, we have to be energized, right? So it all goes back in terms of proper rest, with regular exercise, everything improves, sleep improves, digestion, excretion, mental acuity. Research has shown that the students who are actively involved in physical exercise and sports, they perform better than people who take away from that focus. In the Caribbean, among some, not all countries, but among some countries, among many people still, there is a feeling that sport is a by-the-way exercise, it's a by-the-way activity. It's for those who are not too brilliant, but that is far from the truth. There are many top sportsmen who are also top academics, and the research data will show that. And if you look at it from a common sense point of view, if your blood is circulating better, if there's a higher level of oxygen flow, if that is happening, obviously you will be sharper mentally than if perhaps you lack exercise, your diet is poor, etc. That is pure common sense. And if you dig for the data, it supports the value and the usefulness of doing that. So all of those fundamentals certainly will contribute to that balance and putting us in the best possible position to maximize our opportunities. Another very telling statistic that the British psychologist cited in his presentation is that in Britain, it costs the British economy $5.2 billion annually for people who are suffering from the effects of stress, anxiety, and depression. Let me repeat that figure, $5.2 billion annually. All right? That figure is bigger than the budget of some countries, some Caribbean countries. All right? So that is a frightening statistic, and it's all as a result of people not balancing the scales of life. It's all as a result of people, containers and pipes becoming clogged because they are trying to overachieve and do too much. In a previous presentation, I cited Steve Jobs on his dying bed when he made the comment that what is really important in life. I mean, he was billions and billions of dollars, money wasn't an issue. But as we have heard over and over, money, it doesn't equate to happiness, all right? A sense of purpose and, the finer things in life, And he said a good meal, talking with friends, a good laugh, So as much as we do all as we do, we need to have those elements, as simple as they may appear, but in the scale of things, they're really big. They are bigger than a lot of the things that people are fighting about, When we leave the universe, it's bare, everything is bare, we're going back. We have clothes on that they are burying us in, but at the end of the day, all of the things that many people feel that make life spin, those things really are insignificant if we don't balance the scale, if we don't leave a legacy in terms of serious contributions that improve the human condition. because that is the kind of legacy I think people should be striving for. Because as an active community worker, from a young boy to a grown man, I can say without reservation that the level of happiness that one feels when you walk and help somebody and pull them out from a situation of despair or difficulty, it's an irreplaceable feeling, And these are the kind of things that will, to me, everybody has a different philosophy as to what will bring happiness to them. But I'm saying that is indeed a feeling and a way that money can buy. So leave a legacy where long after you are gone, your work will live on, and your work will continue to impact people in a way where they can be empowered. Right? I heard a very beautiful presentation from the deceased Dr. Miles Monroe recently on YouTube, where he was talking about leaders. He said leaders do not seek power, but leaders seek to empower. So I just like to quote the great late Dr. Monroe in making that statement. As we strive to maximize our opportunities in life, recognize from all that I've said, we need to stay alive. Because if we are not alive, we cannot do all the things that we would like to do. And sometimes the message comes to us sometimes when we get sick. Although we were busy before, when you are sick, you have to just take it easy and recover. And all of the things that you could not have put off, they had to be put off. So, to quote Dr. Monroe again, as leaders, and we are all leaders, because a leader doesn't really, you don't have to have a position to be a leader, but you have to be a person who is influencing others, and you don't need a position for that. And leaders do not strive for power, leaders strive to empower. So as we strive to stay alive, as we strive to balance the scale of life, let us remember the words of Dr. Monroe, in that we should strive to empower. And everyone we empower, it creates a greater power in the world where humanity has a better chance to be happy. So I leave you with those words for today. I know the message was a powerful one. I know it resonated with you. And it's only fair that you subscribe to the channel. It is only fair that you encourage your friends and family to subscribe to this channel. It is only fair that you help in any way possible, including financially, to make this channel the #1 in the universe. And we call on you to make your financial contributions via the YPay link on the description page of this video. So like, subscribe, comment, and share. And let us build this community to be a very powerful one in the universe. So balance the scale, and as you balance the scale, stay tuned for another message. Remember the services we offer: workshop sessions, counseling, coaching sessions. Just call us on 1-868-778-5141, 1-868-779-2544, or email us at leadershipwithadifference@gmail.com. So see you till the next presentation, and continue supporting our channel. Thank you, and bye.